Although there are many battles and wars in Greek mythology, the most famous by far must be the Trojan War. The war took place between the Achaeans of Achaea and the Trojans from the city of Troy. Fun fact: the Greek soldiers lay siege on the city of Troy for over 10 years. The fighting between the Achaeans began during a wedding feast. The goddess of strife, conflict, and disagreements was upset that she was not invited. She threw her gift into the crowd of guests. The gift was a golden apple with the words, "For the fairest of all," carved into it. 3 goddesses, Hera, Aphrodite, and Athena, began to argue. Each of them believed they were the most beautiful. When they were unable to reach an agreement, they asked Zeus to decide. Zeus wisely realized that he would upset the goddesses he didn't pick. So he asked the young prince of Troy, Paris, to decide instead. Paris was struck by their beauty, and he could not decide. So the goddesses began to make him promises if he chose them. Athena offered to make him a skilled and wise warrior. Hera promised him power and land. Aphrodite said she would give him the most beautiful woman in the world, Helen of Sparta. Paris chose Aphrodite. Word of Helen's beauty had spread, and she had many noblemen lining up to ask for her hand in marriage. Her father, the king of Sparta, was struggling to decide who he should choose to marry his daughter. He did not want to create enemies by picking the wrong husband. The wisest of the suitors, Odysseus, told the king he would help him in return for a marriage to his niece. The king agreed. Odysseus told him the men must swear an oath to protect Helen and her husband, no matter what the final decision was. Once this had been done, the king chose a man called Menelaus to marry Helen. Not long after the wedding, Menelaus had to go to a funeral in Crete. While he was away, Aphrodite decided to sneak Paris into Sparta to meet Helen. Once inside the palace, Aphrodite used her influence and Eris's arrows to make Helen fall in love with Paris. Helen spent the night with Paris. In the morning, they eloped for Troy. When Menelaus returned home to discover his new bride gone, he decided to call upon other suitors to keep their promise. Menelaus and his powerful brother, King Agamemnon of Mycenae, immediately set off to recruit more men. They headed to Troy to rescue Helen. When the Greek men arrived at Odysseus's home, he did not want to leave. His son was only 1 year old, and he knew from an oracle that if he left, he would not return for many years. So he pretended to be insane. He plowed his field with salt using a donkey and an ox. One of the men saw through this trick and placed Odysseus's son in front of the plow. Odysseus had no choice but to leave. He also knew from the oracle that the Greeks could not win without one man, Achilles. When Achilles was a baby, his mother believed he would either live a long and boring life or die young and heroically in battle. To prevent this, she took him to the river Styx that ran through the underworld. She held him by the ankle and dipped him in the water to make him invulnerable. Fun fact: Achilles' heel was the only part that was not protected. This led to his eventual downfall. That is why the phrase Achilles' heel is still used today to describe someone's one weakness. With Achilles on board, the Achaeans set sail for Troy. However, they did not know the way. They ended up going too far and landed in a place called Mysia. This land was ruled by King Telephus, who was one of Hercules' sons. During a battle there, Achilles proved his impressive strength by killing many men. He even managed to hurt Telephus.